Okay. Welcome back to the second half of the Do Tell Story Swap. So we have a time when we introduce ourselves, and we have a question of the month, which Meg is going to give us. And then after that, we'll have some announcements. Do you have a question formulated, Meg? And if you do, you can start.
More like maybe a topic.
Okay.
And you can formulate it into your question, but I was saying that I always think about June and moon, and then on the news I heard that the full moon is right with us now, and that it was big and beautiful and red. And I thought, so I'll just start out by saying that to me, I love when the moon is close, I guess, to the earth, and it comes up out of the east from where I live. East? Well, yes, out of the east from where I live. And when I'm driving between my daughter's house and my house, I come along Slusser Road. If anybody knows, Slusser Road is a very beautiful road. It goes by Sara Lee Vineyard place, and it has a huge berm of beautiful plantings that are always doing something the whole year. And as I drive down towards River Road from Windsor, oftentimes that moon is just coming right up over those hills, and it is so huge, and I've got such a clear view of it. It just really inspires me. I don't know why. I think, we all have this sense of a little bit of mystery about the moon. But I discovered something, that even though the moon is red right now, and it's called the strawberry moon, it's not because of the red, it's because this is strawberry season. And I thought, oh yes, time for strawberry jam. So that's what I'll be doing. And I'm Meg Brown from Forestville, if you guys all know.
Great. Thank you, Meg. Kenneth, would you like to be next?
Okay, I'm Kenneth Foster, and boy, I haven't thought about the moon in a long time. But actually, early in my college days and everything, I would go out in the evening with my telescope and look at the moon and study it. And I always was fascinated with the moon. And during part of my career, I was involved with an outreach program for Lawrence Livermore National Lab called Fun with Science. And I got myself a globe of the moon. And that was really exciting, to just look through the telescope and then look on the globe and try and find it. So I agree with you, Meg. I'm fascinated with the moon, and I love watching it go through its phases. So that's my moon.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Sure.
Vina, would you like to be next?
Yes, I would. Am I mute? No. Well, I have a relationship with the full moon. It feels very maternal to me, and I just love it when it's getting close to full. I just feel like that's my moon. I don't know. I mean, maybe a lot of people have that feeling. It'll be interesting to hear as you guys talk tonight, how many of us feel like that's my moon, right? That's my mother moon. And it's, in the days leading up to it, it's still, it's good. But if we have good, clear weather on the night of the full moon, I'm delighted. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Vina Breifogel, and I live in Pengrove.
Thank you, Vina. So Pete, would you like to go next? There you are. Do you want to unmute yourself? Can you unmute?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I told a story up front, Pete Moffat. I told that story up front.
Yes, but so Pete, we're introducing ourselves, saying our name, where we come from, and just to make a few comments about the full moon, if you feel so inclined.
I'm sure the question, I'm happy to respond however you'd like. I'm
Yeah,
new at this, as you know.
yeah. So where do you live, Pete?
Oh, okay. I live in Encinitas, and I started down here. I started a new something to entertain my brain and try to keep my brain from working, and so I took up ukulele, and I found out what a horrid idea that was. I mean, if I could play a few tunes, okay, but then you have to sing, and there's absolutely no way to sing whatsoever. So I have one nice sit in the corner, but that was my next movement, was to move into storytelling. And I'm not sure where I picked it up, but I sounded interested with it. I took a class that Leanne Buffus announces down in San Diego. She teaches a class, and I took that last year for her class, and I got a lot out of that. And then I've been active in the San Diego group down there, swapping stories with them, and now I'm taking the class again. And so I really enjoy, I really enjoy getting better. And as you can see, my interest is personal stories. And my favorite, my major goal is the moth, as you all know. And with some help from Leanne, I've pitched 2-minute pitches, to try to convert your 8-minute story down to 2 minutes, which I found that to be extremely difficult. And once with Leanne's help, I got to do that. Then I found out I could not say an 8-minute version anymore. I can say, okay, 2 minutes is all I can tell you. What was the rest of it? So I had to go back and forth. So I've gone back and forth on those. So I'm enjoying all of it. And I've got 2 pitches in the works, which, and I'm hoping that this one tonight that I told about my boys and that name, and it just, to me, it's a miracle story. And of course, I never would have told this story if all of a sudden this box and someone pulls out my original birth certificate. And that's just like, are you kidding me? What are the chances of that? Yeah. So it's taken a long time for me to be able to try to tell this story. And so that's what I've been working on. Again, Leanne's is a coach, and she helps me a lot. So I hope you like it, and I want to keep working on it. I want it to get better and better.
Lovely. Thank you, Pete, so much for sharing. And your story was really beautiful. So
thank you
very much.
Thank you.
So Cher and John, would you like to introduce yourselves, and where are you? There you are. And talk about the moon.
Cher would.
So I'm Cher. We're in Bodega, which is Sonoma County, about 50 miles north of San Francisco, near the coast. And I love the moon. I think it's really magical, and I love the full moon. And it's a good subject for poetry. So I have a couple of poems about the moon.
Thank you.
I live in the same place, and I've seen the moon. I don't really have a big moon story, except for one. The one thing I remember was that when the astronauts went to the moon, I think for the first time, and they were beaming back pictures and things like that. I was in Iowa at a retreat center, meditation center, and there was no TV. We knew they were up there and had no, we might have had a radio. But
Wow.
we didn't see any pictures of it, So it was like I missed that moment in history, I guess. But thank you.
Thank you very much. Sharon, let's get you, there we go. So I pressed the right button this time.
Well, this is going to sound, I don't know how it's going to sound, not optimistic. Ever since I moved to Washington, not ever since, but for the last whole year, I haven't seen the moon. because it's cloudy up there. So I read about harvest moons and strawberry moons and blue moons and big moons, and it's all imagination to me because, and it's cloudy right now and raining, and it has been, it looks exactly like it did in February, January, and December and November. So we're seriously hoping for some sunshine up there, and maybe we'll get a glimpse of the moon.
Oh, thank you, Sharon. So Genevieve, would you like to go next?
Sure. I'm Genevieve. I'm in Santa Rosa, California. I have a very close relationship with the moon. There's a story that I wrote called You and Me and Mr. Moon. And there's another story that I talk about dancing with the moon. But my siblings and I keep track of each other as seldom as we are in touch. From time to time, we will remind each other that there's the little, what we call in Spanish, uñita, the little fingernail of a moon up there, and the full moon. With the fingernail of the moon, we remember my mother. With the full moon, we remember my father. And my father, until he died, would drag out a chair to watch the full moon. So there is a beautiful movie about an immigration story called Bajo la misma luna, under the same moon. And that brings us together.
Oh,
The idea that we're all under the same moon.
thank you, Genevieve. That's beautiful. Thank you. Vicky, have you shared yet? No. No. Okay. So why don't you go next?
Okay, I am busy typing to Genevieve to ask what was that movie?
I think it's actually called in English Under the Same Moon, Bajo la misma luna.
Under the Same Moon? Okay.
In the chat.
Yeah. Good, then I don't have to send this one. Okay.
My mother and her little son.
I get up at 5:30 in the morning and take the dog and cat out. And so it's just us and the roosters and the owls and frequently the moon. And what's so magical about the moon then is that day is breaking and the moon is still out. And the day is beginning and all of this wonderful plans and living and daylight stuff simultaneously is the magic and the mystery and the sort of, I don't know, otherworldliness of the moon just setting. And so that's my association usually with the moon because I'm out there early in the morning. So
Beautiful. Thank you. So now I see SJ Blessings. Would you like to contribute? I'm not quite sure who this is. Do you want to unmute? Or shall we?
Hi, I'm sorry. I don't want to waste your time. I usually send a thing. I'm a nurse and I'm working. I can't participate.
Oh, right.
But I didn't want you to wait for me. I always send a little note. Hi, can't talk. Gotta go. Bye.
All right.
Thank you. Love listening.
So much. All right. Let's go to Deb. Are you still with us?
Hi. I am driving at the moment, but I love listening to the stories that I.
Oh, she's gone. Okay.
Oh, you can hear me now? Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
we can. Sorry.
I cut myself off. Yeah, the moon has been like, I don't know, a loyal dog of planet Earth or something. It's always there. It always comes around every month. It is, to me, a symbol of constancy, a thing that it could be a cloudy night. In California, we don't have that many cloudy nights as other places, but it's always up there, and it's will always be up there, and it has always been, that constant, timeless constancy. And it blesses what it shines on, as far as I believe. I see it as a good luck symbol to have the full moon. And whether it's rising on the horizon or shining through the old oak tree in the night, or seeing it going through the night. When I wake up in the middle of the night, it's up there when it's full. So I'm glad you bring it up. I don't know if it's tonight is the night of the full moon or tomorrow night. I haven't been.
Tonight.
Tonight is the night, okay. And I also wanted to mention there are 4 planets which are very close together right now, all in line. Mercury looking straight south, Mercury, then Venus. They could be seen at 4 a.m. Mercury, Venus, and then we're Earth, and then Mars, and then Saturn, and then Jupiter. 5 of them. They're all out there right now. And it's the first time in 800 years this phenomenon has happened. It's 4 a.m. in the southern southeastern sky. So I hope if you can get up at 4 or something before dawn, take a look out there. And it's one of the few reasons I'm glad there's a few more reasons I'm glad I married my husband, because he told me that. And glad he knows those little things. Makes me feel lucky because I've walked under the full moon with him.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you so much, Deb. Has everybody shared? I think you have. Okay, so I'm Katie Mangan. I live in Santa Rosa. And the full moon is very special to me because I can't remember how many years ago, but this is how I met Vina Brayfogle, because we went onto her land and we started a women's drumming circle. And that's where we began our friendship. And we've just done a lot together, Vina and myself, and we've hiked all over the place and had a lot of adventures. And so, it's very cool. So thank you, Vina.
Thank you, Katie.
So now, announcements. Meg, do you have any announcements?
I did want to mention to you folks about the Sierra Festival up in, I think it's Grass Valley, actually, where that's the closest town, but it's the old Columbia Schoolhouse. And this is, I think, the first time in 2 years that they've actually had an in-person festival, but it's a very old storytelling festival. It's been around for a while, but it is magical, you guys. And if you haven't been and you can go, make the trip. It's you have to explore to find some place to stay. There's a Ananda meditation place up there, that you can retreat, that you can maybe get a place in. That's where I've stayed before, and it's just I want you to go ahead and go on the SAC website or Google up Sierra Storytelling Festival, because I couldn't copy down fast enough all the tellers. But Alicia Retz, or is it Reddy's, who has shared her stories here with us at SWAP. She's one of the featured tellers, and there are several others that are wonderful. You can check that out. But I do want to just say that it is one of the most, and I'm talking about magical places, it's a magical place. It's outdoors, a little amphitheater, the trees behind it, a meadow behind that with sheep going down and baaing away at dusk. It's just really wonderful. So it's going to be on July 7th and 8th. That's a Friday and a Saturday. And you can either get a ticket for all of the things that are going on, except for the workshop, for the whole weekend, or you can just pick and choose which concerts you want to go see. But if you have a chance to get up there, you should really make the trip. I advise for it. So I think that was really my main push for you guys this month. And also Genevieve had asked for some feedback on any stories that she's told that we particularly liked. So if you want to share with her, maybe at the end of the swap, or on email, I think that would be helpful. So because she's aiming for the limelight there. So
I just put my email address on the chat, in the chat.
Great. Thank you, Genevieve. Yeah. We'll be waiting for you too.
Thank you. I'll let you know if it's on Zoom, so maybe you can watch.
That would be great. Go ahead and send me an email, Genevieve, and I can even put it up on the website, or, let people know.
I'll figure it out.
Good.
Great, thank you, Meg. So there is the San Francisco Folk Festival, and our friends Sharon Elwell and Vicky Ness are tellers. Is anybody else in the swap tellers? Anyway, and I'm not quite sure what the date is. Sharon, do you know? Can you tell us the date of the San
It's
Francisco?
July 16th.
Thank you, Vicky. Okay, July the 16th. Perfect. All right, so I think that is all the announcements. So let's go to Genevieve and hear your story. Let me.
Will you give me permission to record, please? I've asked for you.
Yes, of course.
I'm still waiting for permission.
Yes, I said yes.
No, but you have to, as a host, you just have to grant permission. Let me try again.
Do you know how I do that?
Oh, if you don't know, just forget it.
I'm so sorry, Genevieve.
No, not to worry, not to worry. It's easy, but I don't want to take time. That's no big deal. I'm fine just telling to the crowd, yay. Thank you, my dear.
Sorry.
Not to worry. Okay. I'll just relax this way too. And did you spotlight? Yes.
Yeah, you are spotlighted, yeah.
Okay, dokie. This is a story I wrote for the subject Speechless. In the early 90s, as a new mediator, I was assigned to a dispute resolution session that was moderated by an experienced trainer. I was impressed by his ability to keep the parties focused on the issues, gently steering them away from assumptions and touchy tempers to their own aha moments. His name was Don, and that he could do this without the ability to see revealed a capacity for listening that I longed to develop in myself, not to mention to share with a loving partner, which in time he would become. We were inseparable until the ravages of the disease that had taken his sight as a young man took his life as well. In those 22 years, I found that he not only was an exceptional listener, but a skilled teacher. He would readily cite philosophers and writers as he nudged me away from bad habits, sometimes humorously. With a wry smile on his face, he might quote, say, Mark Twain. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than speak and remove all doubt. I'd been known for years by the nickname Yaki Ma, so this would prove to be a life-changing experience. We learned to negotiate the challenges of living together as a sided and non-sided couple, developing ways of communicating without the benefit of those countless gestures and facial expressions that subtly convey so much information and emotion. Of course, there were times when I was glad that an eye roll of mine went unnoticed by him. I'm a judiciary interpreter. One of the risks of my work is that the repetitive strain of continuous speaking can damage the vocal cords. After interpreting at a series of particularly long court proceedings, I was devastated to find that I developed nodules on my cords, which could only be remedied by surgery. The operation was hazardous because a tiny wrong movement of the surgeons could have him nick one of the cords, leaving me unable to fully recover my normal voice for the rest of my life. To add to that, after the surgery, I'd have to be absolutely silent for 6 weeks. Not a word, not a peep, or I'd risk re-damaging my cords. What would have been difficult under normal circumstances was multiplied many times over by the fact that Don was blind. We talked it over, anticipating the communication problems we'd face on my return home. I wouldn't be able to ask him how he was feeling or what he wanted to do. It'd be useless for me to write notes to him because he wouldn't be able to read them. We also had to figure out a way for me to let him know when I was approaching, or because if I were to touch him or make a sudden sound, say with the closing of a drawer or a door or a crashing pot and pan, which I was likely to do, I would startle him. Finally, we talked it out and I overcame our fears, and I had the surgery, which to all appearances went well. At home, we created workarounds. Text-to-speech technology was a godsend. I would type what I wanted to say and Google would talk to Don. That worked, although slowly. But since electronic speech had no intonation at all, Don sometimes felt hurt by my mechanically enabled responses, thinking that I was annoyed or angry or impatient with him, and I was utterly unable to reassure him. We also developed a simple hand clapping vocabulary, which I could use to answer his questions. 1 clap, clap, meant yes. 2 claps, clap, clap, meant no. 3 claps, clap, 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 meant I don't know. But my favorite was 4 claps, clap, 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 clap. I love you so. Despite some aggravating moments, things worked fairly smoothly until one night when I heard a resounding crash in the bathroom. Don had lost consciousness and was sprawled in that very confined space. Running in, I knew that when he came to, he would feel confused and upset and would need physical and verbal help to get up. There was just no way around it. I would have to break my silence, no matter what the consequences to my voice. I took a deep breath and quietly said, I'm here. You fell. You're going to be all right. We're going to get through this together. And so we did, through the remaining weeks of silence, until the day when, accompanied by Dawn at the medical center, the surgeon gave me permission to say something at last. A bit hoarsely, a bit whistly, I was able to speak again to Dawn for the first time since he fell. Hi, sweet pie. It's your Yakima. That period of shared speechlessness and blindness showed us that, even in the face of loss, what truly matters remain. It reminded us how precious it is to have someone to whom to say, clap, 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 clap. I love you so. And it brought out in me the very qualities I had seen in Dawn when I first heard him listen intently and answer so sensitively at that mediation years earlier. If he were here, he would no doubt repeat the words of the poet Rumi to me. The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lovely story. Wow. Gosh, we've been blessed with so many great stories tonight. So I think, is there anyone else who would like to tell a story? Or what we could do is I could stop the recording and then we can all chat. We can talk to Genevieve about her stories, or we can sign off. What would people like to do?
Did you tell the second half of the Shirley Ann story while I was gone?
I told it all.
Oh, Louis, I missed so much tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. You could maybe listen to the recording.
I will.
I
Yeah.
would love to chat a bit if people were willing.
Okay. So let me just thank everyone for being here. I want to thank Cher. Thank you so much. Where are you? For your beautiful poem and story. Thank you. Thank you. That was just lovely and very healing. And thank you, Pete, for your wonderful story. That was awesome. That was so cool. And your surprise of the second son, that was pretty amazing. And Vicky, thank you again for your very imaginative, fun, whimsical, fantastic stories. Sharon, loved your story. Even though I've heard it before, it's good. It's always good. And Genevieve, thank you again. Just so beautifully told. Your stories just come straight from the heart and it's sort of indescribable. Just takes you to all different places. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording and then we can just all hang out and chat. Does that sound good?
Mhm.
Just a little extra thank you for Mary's spirit accompanying us.
I know.
Thank you, guys. And thank you, Cher. That was really a beautiful poem. And I hope that perhaps you'll share that. Or is it in your new book?
It's in, yeah, the book.
Ah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you sell your books, Cher?
Let's see. They're on Amazon, and I also sell them at, someone wants to.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah. That's
We're gonna say goodbye after this. So thank you, everyone.
Oh,
thank you.
Beautiful stories.
yeah.
Great. Yeah. Of course, always good to see you.
I think I'll go ahead and stop the recording then.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can, am I pressing the right?
Thank you, Katie, too.
Figure out the right button.